You get it.
I don't know. How good is this focus?
I don't know. First time for everything.
What's your f-stop?
I'm not that good. I'm just the on-screen talent. Well, Nate, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a little late, but our second podcast. I was trying to do one a month, and hopefully we'll get onto that rhythm. But the last month or two have been kind of crazy. Yeah. And thanks for hanging with me today and being flexible. We were up in the mountains. What did we run into?
So we got to where we were trying to be, and the place was literally on fire.
Yeah.
Not a forest fire, thankfully. Well, I mean, I guess, kind of. The Forest Service was doing some controlled burning up there. So still a couple of places smoldering. As we were driving around, all the parking spots were closed, though, up there. But good to see. I'm glad to see that they are doing stuff and not just waiting for our matchbox of a state to blow up again. Yeah. As it seems to always do in the summer. So it's good to see
I think that's one of the main issues with a lot of the western states is that they don't do regular fire mitigation because of the tree hugging rock lickers who that's a natural course of the environment, and then you just leave it and you don't let anybody do anything, and none of those forest fires go for like 25 years in an area, and then something happens and it just goes up like a tinderbox. So it's good to it's just good to see that at least here in Colorado, it seems like they're maybe doing some stuff. I don't know of any legislation or anything that has changed.
I hadn't heard of anything going one way or the other. I mean, I don't really understand what the thought process is behind it. I mean, really, other than like, well, I don't want that tree to be burned. Well, but it's a tree, right? And it's going to burn worse, and 1,000 times more trees are going to burn if we don't just torch the ground a little bit. Yeah, I've never quite understood like anything like the logical thought process behind. Oh, just leave it. Don't burn anything. Don't do anything.
And it hurts the ecosystem because that's not a natural process. And when like pine needles, particularly where we live, we have like dense pine forest. The ground gets covered with these dead pine needles, and then little plants and all the undergrowth that would be green and keep the ground from being a tinderbox can't grow. So all you have is literally like a trillion matchsticks laying on the ground.
Yep.
And then it gets like really ridiculous. Wow, that bubbly really made me burp. Real good. Well, it's been an interesting week where we should be at Blade Show first day. Yeah. But just a lot of different transitional stuff with me right now and our family made it so that it just didn't make sense to try and do that. So you were going to go with me. We were going to do a bunch of filming. So shout out to all you guys who are at Blade Show right now. We miss you guys. Hopefully next year we can make it.
Yeah, for sure.
Make it a bigger hurrah.
Be fun to go, for sure. I was a little bummed out not being able to be there, but life happens. Yeah. And we figure out stuff to do.
Different stuff. Tommy, my dog, Tommy, what kind of started is like 2 weeks before we were out. The week I was going to order the tickets towards other ACL. I know like a lot of people have been following and just kind of seeing what happened. He had torn his one ACL. We got that repaired, and then he tore his other one, and now we're trying to figure out really where we go because of his age, 12 years old, just different stuff. It's a hard decision, but basically all the bills and just getting him checked out really ate up into the cost of going to Blade Show. So we had to juggle all of that, but we've had fun yesterday doing some blade testing. So there was one blade where it's actually in the tub over there. Why don't you get it if you can find it? Yes. You grabbed this blade. We were doing some testing, just initial, like going through cordage and doing different stuff, and you just like went bananas for it. Yeah, dig around. I know it's in there. Just dig around for it. There it is. This is the, and TJ, I apologize. I think it's the LS or LC5 from TJ Schwartz. Show him that thing. It's released sick. Recently.
It's amazing. I had a ton of fun with it. I just started shooting some wood off of a stick I was playing around with. We were getting ready to do some testing and stuff. And I just like instantly fell in love with its motion as like the sweep. Because it sweeps back at you just ever so slightly.
It's not a trailing point, but it like, is it?
I don't.
I don't
I
think
mean,
it is from this point to that point.
Probably not. But there's something about the way that it
curvature.
feels. Yeah, and I mean the blade is super broad, which I love. I love the look of it. But man, I was just like, oh, it just felt so nice. Just
It feels really good when
slicing
well, it
stuff.
just feels really good when a knife like connects in that way, and you're like,
Yeah.
there is that like trajectory of a sweep when you are cutting something that it feels like you're either pushing against something or you're like flowing through it, and that definitely does feel like a little bit of a flow
Yeah,
through.
it flows.
And
for sure.
it's video coming soon on this, but this is kind of an exciting thing because I was really blessed to have TJ call me, and he and I did a lot of like it's totally his design. He came up with it, but he was like, "Hey man, can you just get like I have some questions," and we just brainstormed about some stuff. Gave him just my opinion that he seemed to like, and he tweaked some stuff with the design because of that. So it was cool to do kind of a little bit of a collaborative experience with him, and definitely got my juices flowing to like I want to design my own blades, and I have some ideas. It just we just need to make it happen. But yeah, that was fun to be messing around with that yesterday.
Yeah, it feels super good, super good.
So for those of you who haven't picked up on it yet and aren't familiar with the channel, this is my brother Nate. We are not twins.
Sure, you can't tell it all.
Yeah. It's just for those few random people. And a lot of people think we're twins, even though we're 3 years, right? 3 years apart.
Yeah. Don't feel bad if you do. Sometimes when I watch videos that I'm in, I have to remind myself like I'm watching, just whatever. You're talking, there's some B-roll, and I'm like, is that my shirt or Aaron's shirt? What shoes do I own? Is that my hat? Because sometimes, like, if it's not right up on your face, sometimes I can't even tell which one of us it is.
Is on, in particular, if you were involved in like the filming,
right.
the
on
filming
camera,
process,
right? On camera,
and all that. So, and being someone who now has 2 kids, how has that been going? Like now that your son just turned 1.
Yeah, like what was it now? It's 3 months ago, I guess. Almost today.
And a son and a
was
daughter.
a year.
I know what it's like to have 2 sons. I don't know what it's like to have a daughter.
Yes.
What is it like having an older daughter, younger son, that balance? What did that make you feel, maybe even when you realized, like, okay, here I have a boy now, and did that change your relationship with your daughter at all? Is it like what?
No, I wouldn't say it changed my relationship with my daughter. And he's still so young, that it's like I'm not really like talking with him, having these interactions, like trying to deal with the difference between how you raise a daughter and raise a son,
Right.
And the things you want to teach them and tell them about and stuff like that, because obviously it's it's different between the two of them. So it hasn't really changed my relationship with her at all, just in the way that I interact with her. But it's fun, it's crazy, it's controlled chaos in my house all the time, directed chaos. It's fun to just see the differences in the way that they are, and the way that they deal with things and play and just all that kind of stuff. It's just been fun to see the differences between them. I've really enjoyed having a daughter. She's super fun. But as she's getting kind of older, she likes cutesy things for sure. Wearing dresses, and she loves to put on dresses and then run in and be like, "Daddy, look at me," and do I look cute? Whatever kind of stuff.
But and very important at that age to acknowledge that.
Oh, 100%.
Stop what you're doing. Like,
Yes.
Take a moment.
Yeah, because
She doesn't get it from you. You're going to get it from some tool bag when she's 18.
Correct. Yes, 100%. Yeah, because I've heard from psychologists and things like that girls, like especially at that age, but I mean like just women in general, like their whole life, but specifically at that age, their essential their whole question is in life is, do you see me?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
That's good.
am I
Yeah.
seen? Am I?
Do
Do
you
I
see
matter?
me? Yeah,
am I
that's really good.
important? And so, obviously, I'm not perfect. So I don't do it 100% perfectly, but I try very hard to remember that all the time. Like whatever she's doing something, Daddy, look, Daddy, did you see me do this? Do you want to, see what I did? Do you want to watch me do something? I try my very best, as much as I can to take to take a moment to stop and pay attention to her so that she understands that I am seeing what she's doing and I do care about it. And a lot of the times it's super cute or super hilarious or, just like whatever. It is from her. And she loves being with me too, which is fun. She loves, I'm doing a project in the basement, I'm like putting some wood paneling up on the wall. So I'm staining stuff and I'm nailing stuff to the wall and I'm cutting stuff with saws and she just wants to be with me and around me, so that's been fun too, even with her being a girl and liking dresses and girly things for sure. I can tell that she wants to be with me when I'm doing stuff, which I love. She waves at me every morning when I leave for work. She waves at the window. I get to work like 1 or 2 days a week from home. She wants a hug and a kiss every time I go downstairs. I come upstairs from the basement to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I've got 5 minutes between this meeting and that meeting, and I'm gonna run upstairs, go to the bathroom real fast, maybe get a drink of water or something, and so I do that. I'm just trying to get back downstairs. Daddy, she'll come from wherever it is in the house. Hug and a kiss. She wants a hug and a kiss before we go back, before I go back downstairs into the basement where my home office is. So it's just been a lot of fun with that, and I'm looking forward to, my son growing up and, doing dude stuff with him, for sure.
And I have a question about that in a second, but just to circle back to, like, obviously with daughters, but also with our, significant other, your spouse, your girlfriend, whatever, that even as you said that and just like them being seen, so. Probably, I know this is for me, so I'm just kind of speaking for most guys. Like I'm attracted to my wife, so it's very easy for me to be like, "Dang girl, like your hair looks good. Oh man, your butt looks good in those pants this morning." Like whatever, and like focus a lot more on the physical, which I'm sure they appreciate on some level. But this week, my wife and our boys were down at a kids camp all day, from like 7:30 in the morning till like 5 at night. Monday through Thursday, and so like when they got home, they were all super exhausted, and so it's just been me, and I've been running around doing a bunch of stuff for the YouTube channel. Just bought a truck, doing a bunch of different stuff, and the house is just completely nuked, like destroyed on every level. And I like noticed it because I was like, I'm gonna try to do this, and then I had to, something came up and I had to go run. I was gonna try and clean the house, and I just told her on like Wednesday night, I was just like, hey, just so you know, like. You not being here is very noticeable. Thank you for like, since she is like homeschooling our boys and stay-at-home mom. Thank you for keeping the house like in order and clean, because it is noticeable when you're not here for 3 days, and I'm left to myself. And then you got and they're coming in at the end of the day and nuking everything on top of that. But it's just like letting her know that she's seen and what she's doing for the family. I think is super important and can be forgotten, I think, sometimes.
What was her reaction when you told her that?
Oh, she was like, wow, thanks so much. I didn't even, like, she wasn't looking for that accolade, but like, as soon as she heard that, she was like, wow. Yeah, it's very easy when you just see each other day to day and you don't even really realize what they're doing, and then they're gone for a period of time and you're like, whoa. Yeah,
I know, for sure. I've had... just trying to learn, figuring out how to handle, multiple kids and how things get done and how we, divide tasks and what's her responsibility and mine and, what's ours and all these different kinds of things. There's been moments here or there when I'm frustrated by something and I'm like, oh my God, I go to work and, the house is crazy and all this kind of stuff when I come home and, stuff like this and just, paying attention to all the stuff that she does do that isn't necessarily seen in, oh, look, the laundry is done. I can notice that just like right off the bat, I don't know if anybody else's house, but my house has a laundry basket, which is just like always full of the stupid crap that you don't want to do with other stuff. It's like got one sheet. It just doesn't even have both of the sheets in there. And it's got like weird towels and, who knows what, something the kids peed on or something, whatever. It's just like the stupid laundry bin, it's just like always there. But yeah, just paying attention to, and the days when she's gone, my wife went on a trip for 3 or 4 days, like a month ago, and I had both kids for 4 days, I think it was, basically. And yeah, it's just like, man, Thank you for keeping my children alive, because I'm not sure they're going to be here much longer if it's just me. They can get a little crazy. And I mean, it's the age they're at right now, especially my son. He's, he wants his mom. He likes his mom for sure.
Yeah.
He likes seeing me, but, it's like almost every night he just wants to be held by mom.
Yeah.
It's like right around dinner time or whatever. So, it's all those things that they do that may not necessarily be seen in a specific, you just notice it, but it's life. They keep the house a home, and they keep it alive, I feel like, for sure.
Yeah.
So
you reading any good books right now?
Yeah. So I just started, I like reading a lot of different stuff. I like historical stuff, usually like, biographies or things like that. I read some two books that I really enjoyed that I've read a little while ago was Chuck Yeager's, I think it was a biography, not his autobiography, but it's just called Yeager. So the first dude to go faster than the speed of sound, right? That was ridiculous, just so cool. That guy was like nuts. Like the dude was.
He was a speed freak.
Yeah, and I mean, like just in some certain ways, for sure, it's like wasn't like necessarily the best moral example. Did some really stupid stuff. Like
a philanderer, or like just dumb, like
a little bit. I mean, not like super bad that way particularly, but he broke the sound barrier with a broken rib because he was, if I remember right, he was a little bit buzzed still. And like right as the sun was setting, was racing, I think his wife or something like that at the time, back to the barn on horses. And they came, like as the light was fading, they came right up on the fence. And so the horse stopped dead, and he went flying off the horse over the fence and broke his rib. And then it was like a week later or something like that when he broke the sound barrier. So that book was really good. I read Marine Sniper about Carlos Hathcock in Vietnam. And like when I hear the word sniper, I think of this, like the thought that comes into my mind of what a sniper is Carlos Hathcock. Like
and that's the guy that
he
like
is the guy.
What was his name? Like the White Feather.
Yeah,
or something?
White Feather. Yeah. So that book's super great.
Didn't he have to crawl like a couple miles or something like that?
Yeah, it was a ways. And I don't want to super exaggerate things. Read the book. It's a super great book. It's also pretty short. I mean, I think it's like 250 pages, 300 maybe, something like that. It's not a super huge book, but it's great. And yeah, so he was given a mission. They said, like, we need you to do a thing. And
go waste a guy.
And that's all that we can tell you, basically. Like we want you for a mission that we think only you can do. And yep, you have to agree to this. You can't tell anybody anything.
Right.
And we will give you 0 details until you agree to
yes.
it. So he said yes. They're like, okay, we're going to take you into.
And I don't think you can really back out of that either. If you say yes,
no,
they're like, yep,
no, yeah, I mean, it's
you're
like,
in, bro.
Right,
you're
exactly.
You're
It's
not
like
getting out of this.
right. You say yes, and you are doing it, because like once we give you the information, you can't.
Right.
Like you've got to go do the thing, whatever. So yeah, he agreed to do it, and he crawled through the grass, and
because he was like trying to kill a general or something,
yeah,
or like major, or something like that.
Some high level
Viet Cong guy.
Yeah, military guy. So that story was super cool.
Now, hold on one second. I'm just like for the viewers' sake. Chuck Yeager actually lived to be 97.
Yeah.
So,
but dude, like the guy almost died like countless times.
It says that he was Air Force ace, flying. He was a flying ace, test pilot, 1947, broke the sound barrier, and it looks like it says battles and wars that he fought. And he was probably a fighter pilot in World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam. Yep.
Did
they shoot down anybody in Vietnam?
I don't know
because
about
if you didn't shoot down a plane in World War, imagine that. You are shooting down, regardless, Japanese Zeros or German Messerschmitts.
He was European, so theater. So it was
so Messerschmitts. To then, like 20 years later, you're shooting down like MiG-15s, and just the difference. And if he did, I don't know if he did.
I don't think he shot. He was an ace, and so he was the first guy to shoot down an Me-262, the first
jet fighter,
right?
Germans came
or at least the first kind of like functional one. He was in his P-51, classic P-51.
Yeah.
I think it was going in for a landing because, obviously it had way more speed than he did, 2 or 3 times the amount of speed.
Yeah.
So it was on a
dive
landing
or
run.
something like that?
Yeah, and he dove at it and shot it down. But so he was the first dude to shoot it down. He went down and worked with the French resistance for like a fairly long period of time.
Not because he got
Months and
shot
months.
down.
He got shot down.
Oh, he got shot down.
Got shot down,
Didn't
and
get captured.
he got in with the French resistance.
Man, that's pretty awesome.
Helped them for like months and months, and eventually got out. And so the whole deal was like, if you were a fighter pilot in World War II and you ever connected with the French resistance, you were done. Like if you ever got back out, you could never fly again. Because if you got shot down
again,
then you have this information that the Nazis would do horrible things to you to get out of you, and they didn't want to risk like that happening to you and messing up the French resistance. But he got out, and the story of him getting out is crazy. You read this book, even if you don't like to read or whatever.
What's the name of it?
Jaeger. It's just Jaeger.
Just his last name.
It's not super short, but you just keep reading, even if you're not like a big reader. You just want to keep reading because of all of the craziness that he did and went through.
That's sweet.
But so yeah, he gets out and gets back, and he takes his appeal to fly again all the way up to the point where he's in a room with Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces, and says, it was him and one other guy. He was like, I really want to fly again. And so Dwight D. Eisenhower's answer was, well, it's fine with me, but I still got to get like approval from the Joint Chiefs of Staff, kind of thing or whatever. So he took it back to Washington, and they were like, yeah, okay, on his suggestion. And so he went back, and that was his second, like after being shot down, when he finally got the approval to go back, is when he shot down the Messerschmitt, I think, the jet fighter. So a really crazy story. But then I like sci-fi stuff and whatever too, so big Star Wars fan. So I actually just got...
Oh, we're still on your books.
Yeah, okay. We are still on my books. It's a long answer. But read those 2 books, Marine Sniper and...
Well, that you said Star Wars. My boys, we've finished now. We watched all 9 Star Wars. And actually not even all 9. We watched all 9, and we watched it chronologically.
Yeah,
we decided to watch it chronologically. And we also watched, what would be the only other one? It would just be Rogue One in there, right?
Well,
there's no other chronological one that would be in there.
Solo's in the middle.
Okay, we did not watch Solo. Yeah, we didn't watch Solo.
They're probably a little too young for that.
It was kind of a little like, I think that one is kind of like high PG-13 level rating. So anyway, and so it was just interesting. We watched all of them all the way through, and basically I was telling them the whole time, the first 6. The original trilogy is the best because they're younger and better action and stuff. They kind of gravitated a little bit more to the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. Just like everybody, they were we give a crap about Episode 1.
Right.
Darth Maul's battle is
I just watched Episode 1 a month ago.
Okay. You just got to get through Episode 1 to get to the other 2. And it's sad because even when I was watching it with them, you're I'm watching. Revenge of the Sith is a good movie. There's not a whole lot that I have. There's a little bit of the acting, but I blame that actually a little bit more on the writing than actually on the people delivering it.
I would agree with that.
So, but yeah, when you watch Clone Wars, I'm just man, this script is the dialogue. I'm saying the storyline is fine. Right. It's the dialogue that I'm oh my gosh, this is so stupid, kind of thing. And I mean, they're too young to really put it all together. But watching the 3 movies, and particularly the notorious, what was it called? What's the middle one? Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi? Not Return of the Jedi, sorry.
Sorry, you're talking about the most recent.
Yes, the most recent trilogy that's a dumpster fire to begin with, but...
isn't it? So, no, the Last Jedi is the middle one,
Yeah,
right?
that one. Yeah. That's the terrible one.
Yeah, that's the worst Luke one for sure.
And stuff, and even after we watched that, I asked my oldest, who's just turning 8, and I was like, what did you think about that? He goes, that was so dumb.
Correct.
You're right, son. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
And then we watched the final one, and he's like, why is Palpatine here? This makes no sense. And you're like, correct.
Yeah.
You're correct, son. This is super dumb. And when it was all said and done, I was like, what did you think about those last 3? And the youngest one is kind of it's just not really following the plot a whole lot, just enjoying the idea.
Yeah.
But my oldest one is starting to like really pick up on plots and stuff. And he was like, it made no sense. And da-da-da-da-da. And didn't Darth Vader kill him? And like, why is the point of him coming back then? And no one's, I'm like, I agreed on all fronts, son. On all fronts, I agree with you.
Nobody understands.
Yeah. So now we're watching the Clone Wars cartoon show, and that's pretty good. And it gets like better and better with every episode. So that seemed, I'm pretty impressed. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, dude, this is not a kid show. I mean, they're like wasting guys left and right.
Yeah, and it gets more like that as it goes along.
I'm like, wow,
sure.
this is definitely like movie level action. That's like
the first like probably 2 seasons are like have kind of a gentle kiddie kind of feel to them. But
season 3, it's not gentle anymore.
No, as it goes along, and
I'm like, oh, they just showed that guy get like a stormtrooper or whatever, a clone trooper getting blasted. And you're like, okay.
People start getting decapitated and stuff here and there. Yeah, it gets serious. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely gets serious.
Yeah, there's some really good plots and stuff, and gives you some knowledge about. There's a really good episode about Anakin, actually. They find themselves on this crazy planet.
Force Planet, we've watched all those.
Did you watch that one?
Saw that like unpacked like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're into Star Wars, and that's something you want to like dive into a little bit more. I mean, I didn't watch it as an adult because I felt a little weird as an adult, just like watching a cartoon kid movie.
Yeah.
But with my boys, now it gives me a reason, and I'm kind of like, hey, don't like get too far into this without like I want to see it with you.
Right. Yeah, I want to watch
because
all
I
this
want
stuff.
to know just more for like the history of it.
Yeah.
But I got him like for his 8th birthday to read to him first, but when he's older, I got him. The Rogue One, or not Rogue One, sorry, the Rogue Squadron book series from I want to say like the late 80s or early 90s.
I think it's like 93-ish.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah.
So we just started reading that. So that's, I mean, I read all those books, and I know you did too, as a kid.
I didn't read as many of the X-Wing ones, I think, as you did. I read a couple.
Yeah,
but,
I definitely
was reading
probably
other
like 4 of
stuff
them,
on
or
them,
at least.
There's some really good ones.
Man, and just like when you read those, you're like, man, there's so much lore that you guys, like Disney, could freaking do.
Yeah.
And like make good shows. Like that would be I would be if you didn't jack it up.
Dude.
With a bunch of bull crap,
you have
literally be like, let's just make these books and kind of tweak them a little bit and stuff. I would be all over it.
Yeah,
I
mean, you could even, you could probably even kind of make it into just like a short mini series. Hey, each book kind of has its own like whatever hour-long episode, hour and a half long episode. It's probably something like that. You could probably do. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Versus, I haven't even watched it, but I guess like this show Acolyte showed up and it's just like getting destroyed by people who actually know anything about Star Wars. Like, what a waste of time.
It's all freaking stupid. It's all about.
Yeah. The best part, spoiler alert, is apparently the girl that played whatever, I forget the actress's name, who plays Trinity. She's like all over.
Is she in it?
She's in it. She's in like
Isn't
the trailers.
She like 100 years old?
You'd think, but she's looking pretty good. I mean, she looks like she does in the third Matrix. So I don't know what.
Okay.
But anyway,
that was so long ago.
She's in it, and so they're using her in like all the trailers and on the like posters and everything. She, spoiler alert, dies in 9 minutes into the movie or show. 9 minutes into the first episode, she's dead. I'm like, that's weak, bro. That is weak. If you're using her to like, build your interest level.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. And it's like, boom.
Apparently she wasn't very important.
No, apparently. Or you're just literally using her as like clickbait, basically, to like watch it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, she's dead. Never mind. So anyway, that's the movie, the movie part. But I just started reading Gods and Generals. Have you read that?
I haven't read it. I've heard really good things about it though.
It's really interesting because it's they made a movie, I guess, based off of it. I guess it's the son of the guy who wrote another book called like Angels and something like that. It's all about the Civil War.
Yeah.
And this one is like kind of, at least where I'm into so far, is like I think it goes all the way up to like right before Gettysburg, and I think his dad wrote one from like during Gettysburg or something like that, and on. So this is kind of like the lead up, but they're unpacking the history of the like 4 generals, 2 on either side, I think 2 on either side, both the Union and the Confederacy. So you're seeing some of the backstory of Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee, and I believe it's Grant, and there's one because Grant was in charge by the time Gettysburg occurred, correct?
I want to say yes. Well, maybe not.
And there's another. I know there's another general on the Union side.
Burnside.
Was he?
He was. I think the dude before. Well, I'm
Here,
trying.
let's ask ChatGPT what ChatGPT thinks.
Yeah, Burnside was a Union
Dude,
general.
I
I'm pretty
basically
sure.
stopped asking Siri and just asked ChatGPT, and I just have like free ChatGPT, and I've heard the new one. Who were the major generals in charge of both the Confederacy and the Union at Gettysburg? Tell me, AI.
Read it out.
Okay, Robert E. Lee,
Yeah.
George Meade, Major
Okay.
General George Meade for the Union. That's
Okay.
all it says. Those are the two main generals,
Okay, so yeah, so Grant must have been put in charge after Gettysburg.
I guess. Here, let's ask it that. When did Ulysses S. Grant take charge of the Union Army? Should tell it to like start talking. He was the general in chief of the Union Army March 9th, 1864.
Gettysburg was 63, right?
What is the date of the Gettysburg Battle?
I'm gonna feel good about myself if it
I
was
know,
63.
I like, yeah, it's 63. July 3rd.
Yeah.
I knew it was like in July.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, of 63. Yeah.
Okay, so the next year. Okay. All right. So anyway, so it must be. I think Ulysses was there though, or something. He just wasn't in charge.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, I would imagine.
yeah. So it must be Meade and Lee, and then Stonewall Jackson, and so they're just unpacking like some of their like life and stuff. It's really interesting.
Is it like just a history book, or is it like a novel?
No, it's a novel. It's definitely. I mean, I think it's like a historical fiction, somewhat. Of like weaving in stuff that he's probably taking some liberties with. Like, I mean, there's like a conversation that like now maybe he's going off of Lee's diary. I don't know, but like it's engaging about like him coming back before the Civil War even starts to his wife's his father-in-law's estate. His father-in-law's just died.
Right.
His wife is there, and like there's conversations that are happening that we're like, could these conversations really happen? Like, I don't know. So it's like that type of stuff. But it's really interesting and engaging, and I'm curious because I haven't focused on the Civil War in quite a while, and I think that's just such an interesting part of history that I hope we don't repeat.
Hopefully not.
That would not
Hopefully
be,
we don't
not
have to
be an awesome thing to do,
That would be awful.
since we had to endure that once.
Super terrible. Yeah. For sure.
So, well, Nate, thanks for hanging with us
course.
and doing the podcast today. I know you'll be a pretty regular guest here.
We'll have some fun.
Yeah, and hit different topics and stuff. Leave comments below, guys, if you want to have certain topics addressed, that you want to hear our thoughts on. And we're doing it just kind of as not an experiment, but just to do something different and talk through stuff, unpack things, and just share a different perspective on not only like Gideonstactical, but my brother who's helping me a lot more now and stuff, and just having an entertaining but thoughtful discussion on all kinds of random stuff. So,
Yeah.
cool. Till next time, guys. Always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared.
We'll see you out there.